saying. Okay, I've been a little bit quiet in the creating video sense, with stuff going on, even though I did the live yesterday. Anyway, so for today, I just pulled out my Hoodoo Tarot, the Hoodoo Tarot, and I just thought, oh, I want to pull out the book as well. And what I want to do is just take a moment to sort of take a breath. How many times do we actually, just for ourselves, it's not for doing readings or anything like that for anyone else, we're just looking for ourselves, right? We pick up one of our guidebooks and we just take a moment to actually have a look at the deck. So let's have a look at this Hoodoo Tarot. It's a 78 card deck and book for root workers. Right, I've used, I did the unboxing, I did the exploration, I did the what decks will I pair it with, all that sort of stuff, right? And I work with the deck and I've used it for doing readings for people, and yeah, really, really cool. But how many times have I actually pulled out the guidebook to actually do a little bit of study for myself? Okay, so we know it's by Tiana Lee McKellar, an artwork by Catalin V. Fossey. It's Destiny Books. Right. The book is dedicated to her grandmother, 1934-2019, without whose stories of the Old South and the ways of our ancestors, the book would not have been possible. Gladys Hagler Smith. Oh, gorgeous. So, I mean, really, and so we look at the book, and it gives you so much information: a culture, an inheritance, and a rebellion. What is hoodoo? The origin of hoodoo, the form of divination traditionally used in hoodoo, getting to know the Hoodoo tarot, the elders, the family, and the community, the tools, the card images, plants, and Bible quotes, positive and negative community cards. Then we've got the hoodoo spreads and sample readings, and then it's got the card meanings with the elders. So let's dive into this. Look, I'm not a hoodoo practitioner in any way, and I don't claim to be an expert in anything, but I love learning about different cultures, learning to understand without prejudgment about what hoodoo is. Now, I know there's a lot of misconceptions about what hoodoo and voodoo and that sort of thing is. There are so many different beliefs, different practices, and so I think it's really important to learn and understand about the different before making any judgment, before making any comments about what it is or what we think it is. I think it's really important to really read what is hoodoo. Okay, by the time you read this, it will have been almost 20 years since Root Work, the Folk Magic of Black America, was published. At the time, there were very few contemporary books written on the subject of hoodoo, but today there's literally dozens of them. The resurgence of mainstream interest in witchcraft, the occult, and African indigenous spirituality is without a doubt responsible for the proliferation of literature, workshops, festivals, conferences, and social media groups focused on root working. As a result, there have been a shocking number of people claiming to be practitioners, authorities, and or teachers of the centuries-old tradition. And I'm definitely not that. I'm definitely not in this, not in hoodoo in any shape or form. But I just think it's so fascinating to learn about other people and to be able to understand them. I'm not going to practice hoodoo in any way. I'm not going to practice that. But I just want to be able to have an understanding of what it's about. And that's what I love. Okay, so as she said, there's been a result of people who think they know all about it, right? And so it's time for a reason that I decided it's time for me to address the topic again, but not to berate anyone, but to clarify a few things, get more in depth, and to correct a huge mistake that she made in her first book. The era was the description of hoodoo as folk magic. In an attempt to assimilate the topic to academic language and standards, but hoodoo wasn't folk magic when it started being described as such by social scientists, nor is it folk magic now. Hoodoo is a culture, an inheritance with a distinct lineage in North America. It is the product of people who faced terrorism and unimaginable suffering on a daily basis, yet refused to relinquish all of their power and identity. Hoodoo, in addition to being a body of botanical and esoteric knowledge, is also a rebellion against absolute mental and spiritual domination by Europeans. This is the essence of the reality of what hoodoo is, but there are many ways one may define its composition. The oft repeated and most widely accepted narrative categorizes hoodoo as a primarily African retention with Native American and European influences. However, that is only a theory and difficult one to prove at that. So quite interesting. So I think you can go into quite a lot of study about it, read about it, get to know a little bit about it. But I'm not going to read it all for you now. I think it's important that you pick up a book yourself and you read the information and digest it in the best possible way for you. Instead of listening to me reading through it, I think it's important that you do your own study, your own reference search, your own research. I think that's really important for you to understand it. I'm not going to go through and read it all, but I just wanted to sort of point that a little bit out, that is something that you need to do for yourself, to find out a little bit into it. I'm not going to go in like the origin of hoodoo. No one knows exactly when what we know today as hoodoo began, but it probably started not too long after indigenous Americans, Africans, and Europeans came into daily contact with one another during the colonial era. All three groups had significant indentured servant and enslaved populations who worked, socialized, and intermarried with one another on a regular basis. Most Europeans during the colonial era were overwhelmingly Protestant and hailed from England, Ireland, Scotland, Germany, and the Netherlands. The majority of the approximately 388,000 African people who were shipped to North America, including Canada, between the 17th and 19th centuries, came from a variety of ethnic groups. God, that's a long time, isn't it? 17th and 19th centuries. Wow, that's a lot of years. Came from the variety of ethnic groups. They were Malagasy, Congo, Igbo, Maghrebis, which is the Moors, Akan, Mande, Hausa, and Fulbe, among many others. There were hundreds of indigenous tribes in the southeast alone prior to colonization, the smaller of whom later joined or were absorbed into larger confederacies, such as the Creek or the Cherokee. Unbeknown to many, there were also other nationalities and ethnic groups who were enslaved, indentured, or voluntarily migrated to North America during the colonial era as well. Wow, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? There were dark-skinned coolies from India and China, Pacific Islanders, and Roma people, which people called gypsies, many of whom were reclassified and denationalized in official documents by using descriptors such as white, mulatto, or Negro. These groups are also the ancestors of many, many black Americans who may have incorporated their knowledge into hoodoo, but today have no clue that they have this ancestry. All of the aforementioned peoples from around the world have their own cosmologies, philosophies, folklore, and remedies. Thus, some might say that hoodoo is North America's only totally unrestricted repository of esoteric knowledge. So quite interesting, isn't it? Now, I'm not going to read out all the information about each thing, but just very quickly, several forms of definition used in hoodoo. Cleromancy, which is the casting of small objects such as shell, bones, stalks, coins, nuts, stones, dice, sticks, etc. Okay, so cleromancy. Cardomancy, which of course we know is about interpreting cards. Then there's natural or judicial astrology, okay, which is to do with the motions of celestial bodies and the belief that they have an influence over nature and human affairs. Okay, and augury, deciphering phenomena that are believed to foretell the future after signifying the advent of change. It's the observation of animal behavior. So it's kind of interesting there. Now, and the last one is oneiromancy, which is based upon dreams. So kind of interesting. Then you get to know the Hoodoo Tarot. So we know the elders, the family, and the community. So we've got the elders, the foundation of the family. The family is equivalent to the court cards in standard tarot decks. In this regard, the family in this deck actually represent the idolized American nuclear family rather than the aristocrats and their servants. However, the family and court cards share a similar purpose. And then you've got the community relates to the minor arcana, as they both reflect. Okay, so we've got the major arcana, which is the elders. Then you've got the family, which are the court cards, and then the community are the minor arcana. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea. Okay, and then you've got the tools, represented by the suits, reflect everyday objects utilized by all Americans. Okay, so the tools, represented by the suits, reflect everyday objects as utilized by all Americans. However, the esoteric significance and aesthetic of these tools, when applicable, were often specific to people of indigenous and or African descent in general. Okay, sticks. So we've got sticks, which is primal energy, power, passion, and authority. Baskets with love, emotions, healing. Then you've got knives with ideas, thoughts, and beliefs. And coins with wealth, security, and protection. I think it's really important that when you get a tarot deck, at times, okay, you put the big book aside, but every now and then I think it's really important to sort of pull the book out and have another little bit of a read with it. Okay, card images, plants, and Bible quotes. I carefully considered. Okay, so Tiana carefully considered the meanings and key concepts of each card. Then she selected one or two aspects of each to formulate an image. I shared what I saw with Caitlin, the artist, and she made it happen. The use of plants and herbs for healing and working was an essential part of root work. I chose plants that were frequently used by root workers in the past. The majority of the plants featured in the Hoodoo Tarot are indigenous to the southwestern United States. The ones that are not are still American unless otherwise stated. It is suggested that readers always seek out additional information about how the plants are used and follow their intuition how to incorporate the plants into their lives. The Bible quote for each card was chosen by researching keywords related to each card in a Bible glossary and then selecting the quotes that I felt were the most compatible with the message I wanted to convey to the reader. Okay, for the community cards, the explanation says that each has a positive and negative side. If the reader is accustomed to reading with reversed cards, then it is acceptable to read the Hoodoo Tarot reversed cards as negative in that way. However, if a reader does not typically interpret the tarot using reversed cards, then a card is considered negative or positive based on the goals, needs, and desires of each individual reader. For example, Bishop C.H. Mason, the Hierophant, which has a platonic and unsensual nature, is not a negative card. but it sure becomes one if you ask, does Kate feel as passionately about me as I feel about her? Ah, interesting. So I love the way that. So then she goes on, she does share some spreads and sample readings, which I'm not going to go into today. I just wanted to sort of just have a little bit of a look, see, a little bit of a thought. And maybe that's something that I can try again. I have used some of these spreads. Don't put that thing on me, catch trick spread. Have I been tricked? Hex curse. That's quite a good one. If you want to do have I been tricked, hex, cursed, or jinxed, the source of the root work is anger, the message to me from the ancestors about the situation, the remedy, and so it's a 5-card spread. So that's kind of interesting. So something I need to practice. The right doc spread. What I'm looking for by seeking this teacher's guidance and mentorship. What am I? So it's kind of interesting. I'm not going to go into each of these spreads. Going to catch a bird. Right. Okay. And then of course the card meanings. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to have a look. I just want to say, what do I need to reflect on today? I'm just going to reflect on today. What I'm going to reflect on. Because we've sort of dived into this and it's been quite a while. It's already been over 15 minutes, quarter an hour. So let's have a look. What message are we going to reflect on? Oh, okay. So this card here is pulled out. 1, 2. Okay, and then the top one is definitely screaming at me. Right, so what are the 3 cards? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my first initial thoughts looking at the card. And then I want to dive into each card a little bit more. So the first card we're looking at here is the 3 of Coins. A 3 of Coins to me is about my skill, my abilities, the sense of creating something new, making something, using my craft in some way, which is kind of interesting. So it is about using my craft. Now, 8 of Sticks. Now, for me, 8 of Sticks is normally about moving quickly, things moving with intense desire, passion. So using my craft to move forward on my journey. 7 of Coins, to bring what I want into my life. That's basically, if I look at that very quickly, my initial thought is about using my craft, okay, using my tools, my abilities, my sense of, to me, this is really about using my craft in some way to create something, using my abilities to create something, to move forward with intensity, passion, desires, all those things, to bring what I want into my life. So let's have a look and see what each of the cards are. So 3 of Coins. Okay, so let's do 3 of Coins first, and let's see what they say. Okay, so 3 of Coins. Let's have a look. So the plant is vetiver, so I want to get a little bit more information about that maybe. Okay, the image. A very successful Afro-Romani root worker awaits the arrival of a client. Thousands of gypsies were reclassified as coloured and intermarried into Negro communities throughout the South. That's interesting. They were known to be especially skilled at breaking hexes and curses. This woman wears 2 necklaces to keep the blessings coming. A rosemary made of black-eyed peas and a wishbone. So the meanings are positive, employment. Okay, the positive one is employment, professional growth, internships, high standards, appreciation for a job well done, beneficial use of talents, exceeding expectations, promotions, detail-orientated people, upgrades, improvement in social status, being validated by others' degrees or certification, collaborations, and goal-orientated people. So something else might stand out for you when you hear these meanings. Something else might stand out for you in regards to what it means to you personally. I also get be careful about being a know-it-all. I got that there for me. Be careful about being a know-it-all. And I'm not a know-it-all. I'm definitely got so much to learn. even after 20 odd years of tarot, I feel I've got so much still to learn about tarot. You know, I will never ever know it all. So that's just a reminder for me, I feel. That just stood out to me straight away. It does talk about negative as incompetence, missed opportunities, know-it-alls, demotions, work-related problems, lack of skill, falling short, half-hearted efforts, and poor work ethic. Okay. For me, it's just a reminder. I get a sense of, you know, I go about using my skills and my abilities, but just remember I don't know it all. And that's just a little reminder for me. Right, the next one was 8 of Sticks. So 8 of Sticks, okay, the plant is popular. The tree is popular. A hoodoo woman is peeling wood from a tree just struck by lightning. It is believed that lightning struck wood amplifies the potency of any working. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, the meanings are things happening quickly, rapid progress, forward movement, communication, finding a resolution, excitement, whirlwind romances, gaining momentum, receiving a critical message, eye-opening experiences, being in alignment, ending of delays, travel by air, and successful journeys. Negative, a serious emergency, wasted energy, being too pushy, reckless behaviour, transportation, faltering, leaping before you look, unexpected breakups. Okay, unexpected breakups. Extreme frustration, high pressure. So if it's being asked about a relationship, could be about unexpected breakup. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Extreme frustration, high pressure situation, hasty decisions, ideas that are way out there, hysteria, failure to recognise signs and warnings. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so next one is 7 of Coins, right? So let's have a look and see what 7 of Coins is. Okay, the plant is hobblebush, okay. A woman is bending over picking up pearls while the swine she tried to feed them to walks away. She is surrounded by hobble bushes and wears a necklace made of devil's shoestring, the root of the hobble bush plant, for protection against. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so 7 of Coins here is return on investments. Well, it is a return on investment. You know, if you use your skills, if you study, if you're learning to move forward on your journey, you can gain investment in it. It's kind of interesting. Slow and steady progress, assessments, waiting for results, long-term thinking, making assessments, considering the possibilities, finishing what you've started, which is important, reflecting on the choices you've made. Negative, feeling like your time's been wasted, fruitless endeavours, increased workload for the same pay, which I don't have to worry about, demoralisation, workaholics, giving up prematurely, dead-end jobs, bills piling up. Nope, it's all good. Short-term thinking, reaping what you've sown, setbacks and wasted energy. So it's kind of interesting when you sort of dive into the meanings again. But let's have another little look at each card. Okay, so like they said, we've got this woman here, okay, and she's waiting for a client. She's got her root work, her crystal ball, cards, maybe something sitting there, maybe money. I don't know what that is, but then, you know, she's waiting. She's using her craft, her abilities, her knowledge, her wisdom to I feel like to create something new. Okay, so she's creating her business, her abilities to, you know, her using her knowledge to learn more, maybe using her ability to read to learn more, to move forward on the journey. I do keep this getting about moving forward on the journey. I do feel like there's this passion that lies within the skills and the abilities. So this brings forward. And then you've got the 7 of Coins. And I do feel like you're going to have a benefit. You know, you are going to create something new. Or I'm creating something new. That's kind of interesting. I'm diving in. I'm rambling away. It's been nearly half an hour. Okay, so that's it from me. Just a reminder to pull out your guidebooks and just have a little bit of a read with the cards and read what, do your first initial thoughts about what the card could mean, and then dive a little bit more into the guidebook to reflect on the images and what the artist and the creator has to talk about. I think it's really important to dive into. So this is going to be interesting for me to think about today. Thinking about, what do I want to bring into my life? What am I making? What am I creating? What's allowing me to move forward on my journey? What are the things that I need to do to move forward on my journey with using my craft, to create what I want, to manifest what I want? It's kind of interesting. Okay, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care, and blessed be.